Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It's that time of the year again when the weather is changing. The days are getting shorter and people will soon spend more time indoor and turn on their heating in buildings across Europe. The seasonal change is a good reminder of how important a healthy indoor environment, good insulation, access to affordable heating systems and saving energy in buildings is. Buildings are central to our lives. It's where we live and work, and it's where most of the people usually spend the largest share of their available income. All people deserve spending their time in buildings which have a high energy performance and which do not harm the environment. Improving the union's building stock has been one of our top priorities since the start of this mandate, and the Green Deal put a special focus on building renovation through the renovation wave. We will not solve the decarbonisation challenge if we don't tackle the single largest energy consumer in Europe, buildings. Today, thanks to new construction methods, materials and products, new buildings consume less than half compared to buildings built before the first Energy Performance of Buildings Directive. But these are new buildings, which do not represent the EU building stock. 85% of current residential buildings were built before 2010 and will stay until 2050. And 75% have a poor energy performance. Therefore, if we want to achieve our objectives, we have to work on existing buildings. We have made progress. The pace of renewable energy capacities installations has accelerated. Installed wind and solar capacity increased by 16% between 2021 and 2022, saving approximately 11 billion cubic meters of gas. More and more buildings got equipped with solar PVs, and last year, the sales of heat pumps in Europe increased by 35% compared to 2021. In Spain, it was an increase by 24%, reaching 185,000 units. Member states, among them Spain, have reinforced measures to put consumers in the driving seat through self-consumption and energy communities. We have already achieved a lot in integrating buildings across the legislation landscape. This is important because buildings are not a standalone sector. REPowerEU highlighted how critical buildings are in reducing our dependence on Russian gas and set out proposals to accelerate solar technologies in buildings. The EU agreed on the Renewable Energy Directive with a higher target of 42.5% of renewable energy, and on the Energy Efficiency Directive with a target of 11.7% by 2030. Actions to improving the EU building stock will contribute to achieving these targets. One crucial element in the legislative framework is still subject to negotiations, the recast of the Energy Performance of Buildings Directive. We need to make a final push on it. It will set the action plan for building renovations so that measures are in place in time for 2030, along with other measures of the Fit for 55 package. The EPBD will be key to ensure that structural improvements in buildings will take place in a predictable manner. It will be a framework that will allow citizens and our economy better planning of their investment decisions. We need robust provisions where it matters most, especially on minimum energy performance standards, phase out of fossil fuel boilers, and zero emission standards for new build. The EPBD is also a chance to make the European building stock more digitalized. The update of the EPBD would allow for the wider use of smart and digital technologies in buildings and contribute to EU goals on sustainable mobility. With the provisions on zero-emission buildings for new constructions, we aim to deploy the best possible technologies where it is easiest, meaning when new buildings are constructed. This will not only improve the building stock, but attract investors, producers of innovative technologies, and create jobs. Improving the energy performance of buildings will also bring substantial economic benefits. Besides boosting industrial competitiveness, It will reduce energy costs and allows businesses to invest their savings elsewhere, such as innovation and economic productivity. I'm convinced that co-legislators will swiftly come to an agreement on this important file. Another important element for the buildings landscape is the legislation on energy labeling and eco-design requirements. It is also under review, and we hope to have it completed by the end of 2024. The proposed update on energy scales will help citizens make informed decisions and reduce fine particulate matter, which is responsible for almost 240,000 premature deaths every year in the EU. In parallel to all this work, we are also focusing on ensuring our clean tech manufacturing base can keep up and make the most of the clean energy transition. As we speak, Europe is a net importer of net zero technologies. This is why we are designing a new policy approach under our proposal for a Net Zero Industry Act to help our clean tech industry stay and grow in Europe. We want to incentivize demand and create the right conditions for investment in net zero technology manufacturing, such as solar panels and heat pumps, because we need to ensure the supply of these key products so we can support the innovation of the building stock. One final point. We are investing close to 50 billion euros in energy efficiency in buildings and renovation through the Recovery and Resilience Plans, REPowerEU, and the European Structural and Investment Funds. In Spain alone, this will result in an investment well in excess of 4 billion euros. Particularly interesting in this case is the focus on renovating buildings in small cities and rural communities, an area that unfortunately not always receives the attention it deserves. Dear friends, we know that we also need to pay close attention to the workforce. This is one of the key bottlenecks. We need more and better prepared workers across the sector: designers, manufacturers, construction site personnel, installers, and operators. And this is an area where we need close involvement and cooperation with stakeholders such as yourselves. I look forward to continuing our close collaboration on buildings policy because this is one of the most cost-effective solutions to a transition to net zero. Let's work together to create the better places to live and save energy across all Europe. Thank you.